Hi guys, welcome back to Irish Footy Vlogs, and today I have another video. This video is me ranking the top 10 managers in the Premier Division. Now, the way I've taken this is essentially any past achievements at other clubs will not count. So it's going to be based on the job that they're doing so far at their current club. So let's get straight into this. Now, number 10, I've gone for NEALE FENN, Cork City. NEALE is only at the club. He took over in August of last season. Cork City finished 8th in 2019, which was disappointing for them. He's working off a smaller budget than John Caulfield was, the previous Cork manager, so that makes it a bit tougher for them. So far this season, 9th in the league with only 3 points. Now, to be fair, in Neil's defence, as I said, he's only in the job a wet week, pretty much. He has reshaped the squad with a smaller budget. Cork lost a lot of their experienced players from 2019, and NEALE has brought in a lot of very, very young players on with a smaller budget as well. So you can feel a bit unlucky, to be fair, that he's at number 10. Number 9, Stephen O'Donnell, St. Patrick's Athletic, for similar reasons to NEALE FENN. In fact, Stephen has only been in charge for 11 games at the Saints. It's been a bit of a transition for the Saints after Buckley left the club and Kenny came in, and it didn't work for Kenny. So O'Donnell has taken over, signed a 2-year contract. Bit of a project at Pats. He does have a bigger budget than Fenn. He has managed for less games though. He's overseen a massive squad overhaul at Pats as well, and he seems to be going for young, hungry players. Robbie Benson aside, he needed a bit of experience, a bit of winning mentality, I guess. That was a good signing. But I do think Pats' signings are probably better than Cork's overall. Billy King has done well as well. But it's going to be interesting to see how O'Donnell does. I do like him. I think he's a good manager. But for now, I have to put him in at number 9 because you can't really judge him at this minute in time. Now, number 8, we've gone for Liam Buckley of Sligo Rovers. As I said, past achievements don't count here. First season with Sligo to finish 7th in the league, well off any European spot in terms of league points. So far this season, of course, no points from their opening games, which is disappointing. He's had a few injuries. That said, I think Sligo have a lot of good players, and I think he'd be a bit disappointed. But not necessarily the position of last season, more with the points total last season. He did get to the FAI Cup semi-final, which probably bumps him up a little bit in this list. But so far, for the quality of manager Liam Buckley is, what he has done before, I think his stint at Sligo so far is a little bit disappointing at this minute in time, if you count 2019, 2020. He's brought some interesting players in a Sligo Rovers, which I would have been looking forward to seeing this season. Has had a few injuries, as I said before, but last season overall disappointing, and for that reason Liam Buckley comes in at number 8 on this particular list. Now on to number 7, I've gone for Ian Morris of Shelbourne. Ian is the youngest manager in the Premier Division at 33 years of age. Took charge of Shelbourne last season, done an excellent job getting Shelbourne back to the Premier Division. Has a real style of play where he expects his team to defend as a team and hit on the break and soak up pressure, and they do that very well. They've proven that so far this season. 2020, 6 points for 4 games. Really good performance against Dundalk, where they lost 2-1. Couple of wins then in the league as well, where they went down to Turner's Cross and grinded out a result against Cork. Beat Pats 2, which was an excellent result for them. Ian, I think, as I say, distinctive style of play. Gary Deegan was a key signing for Shelbourne this season also. So I think his star will actually rise. I think he's doing a good job at Shelbourne. Has them playing in such a way that they're very, very difficult to beat. And he's in at number 7, mainly because he's new and Shelbourne are new to the Premier Division. But yeah, number 7, Ian Morris. Now, number 6 is VINNY PERTH of Dundalk, and this was the one that I found the most awkward to do, if I'm honest, in the list, because he won the league last season. He won the League Cup and he got to an FAI Cup final only losing in penalties. But Dundalk, first season at the club, I still think he's done a superb job. But Dundalk, this team was built by Stephen Kenny essentially. Stephen Kenny built them from the ground up. Put together a fantastic squad over many years. Vinny PERTH has inherited that squad. He was assistant manager from 2013 to 2018, so Dundalk probably done the right thing by bringing someone like that in to try and continue on and watch what Kenny has done, which has helped. He would have learned a lot from Kenny and seen what he should be doing. And I suppose he does deserve credit that he hasn't completely changed the style of the team. A little bit, but not completely. I think Kenny were a little bit more of a pass and a movement team, but Vinny has taken much of that on, to be fair, as well. It's a difficult one, as I said. I think the reason why I have him at 6 is because he inherited such a great squad and they were very successful. I think there's a lot of good managers in this league that probably could have done something similar with that squad, if I'm honest. Now, number 5, I've gone for Alan Reynolds of Waterford FC, better known as Rennie to the Waterford fans. In 2017, he guided Waterford FC to the Premier Division. In 2018, Waterford FC finished 4th and technically qualified for Europe. They missed out because of a UEFA ruling, unfortunately, but that can't take away from the job that Reynolds done in guiding the Munster club to 4th in the league. I will say that last season was probably a little bit disappointing for them. They finished 6th, which isn't terrible by any means, but they did lose a lot of good players in 2018. Reynolds kind of had to put another squad together. Also, I suppose they would have expected to finish a bit closer to, I think it was Pats in 5th place. So that'd be disappointing for Waterford. But Reynolds, again, at the end of the season, there's been problems at Waterford. And again, had to reshape a brand new squad. And looked to me like he'd done a good job of it. Put together a very young squad and a good squad of players, in my view. He's had problems with Lee Power, the chairman, as well, but he's continuously done a good job and started the season relatively well in 2020 as well, I feel. So the fact that he's had to build an awful lot of squads at Waterford, he did get them into the Premier Division. He did get them to finish 4th in the league. For me, 5th on this list. Now, number 4, I've gone for Stephen Bradley, manager of Shamrock Rovers, a manager that got a lot of flack and criticism early on in his Rovers career from fans and I suppose people outside Rovers as well. He took over when he was 32. Big undertaking, big job, trying to shape Rovers into championship contenders. It's taken time, but I think he's got there now. They finished 4th in his first season, 2016, 3rd in 2017, 3rd in 2018, and obviously last season 2nd and winning the FAI Cup. So there has been progression, there's no doubt about it. It might be slow in many people's eyes, but patience is needed. Sometimes things don't happen overnight and happen quickly, and he's proved people wrong, including myself, I must say. 2020, he looks like he could have them as title contenders as well with the squad he's built and the confidence they got from that cup win, and obviously the good start that they've had to the season with some impressive results and performances. Bowls at Dalymount, they really ground that one out. And the Dundalk Humdinger, where they won that one 3-2. So Stephen, now 35 years of age, I'm sure has learnt a lot in the last few years as well. That's been a key as well. And a young manager that clearly is getting better. And some people might have thought Rovers would have been too big for him. Well, he's proved them wrong as well and continues to do a good job. So Stephen Bradley in at number 4 for me. Now in at number 3, I went for Declan Devine, Derry City, and to be honest, there wasn't much between the top 3 at all, in my opinion. But Devine comes in at number 3. To put the job he's done so far into context, now he's only had one proper season, remember? So that's probably why I didn't have him higher. But in 2018, Derry City finished 8th in the league. This is when Devine wasn't manager. In 2019, they finished 4th with him as manager. There were 15 points better off in 2019 than they were 2018. That's a big transformation for a manager to come in and make such an immediate impact. The fact that he was at Derry before probably helped him because he knew the club, etc. But still, to make that impact was fantastic. One of the biggest things with him was bringing in a couple of loan players. Junior, who scored 14 goals in the league last season, 31 appearances. And David Parkhouse from Sheffield United, 34 goals and 34 appearances, 11 goals. He scored 19 in the overall in all competitions. So he's done it again, I think, with Stephen Mallon. He's brought in Stephen Mallon from Sheffield United as well. He must have some good contacts there. And he's been a shining light in their early season form, which has been up and down, to be fair, but again, very early doors. So Declan Devine is a manager that knows the club inside out and has transformed Derry from a club that were near the bottom of the league to now a club that should be up near the top of the league. So Declan Devine in at number 3. Now, number 2, I went for Keith Long at Bohemians, and I've talked about slow and steady at Rovers. That's been the case with Keith Long at Bohemians. I believe, I'm trying to think now. No, he mightn't be. No, I won't say it. He came in 2015, basically. Bowls finished 5th. In 2016, they finished 8th. In 2017, 5th. In 2018, 6th. And 2019, 3rd, where they qualified for Europe. Now, when you look at those seasons, you might say there's nothing really special there. But they hadn't been in Europe since 2012. He managed to do that, get them into Europe for this season. But Bowes, when he took over, they nearly relegated. They nearly relegated in 2013 and they finished 7th in 2014. He wasn't in charge until 2015. So, as I said, 2013 they were nearly relegated. They were only a couple of points off relegation. So, Bohemians were going through a stage of a club where they were in decline, basically. There were issues about their stadium. Many people said they wouldn't have a club. Keith Long's probably managed Bohemians under a spell where they've had the lowest, they haven't had as much money to spend. They came through a point where they won league titles in 2000, I think it was 8 or 9. So Keith Long has steadied the ship basically at Bohemians in the last number of years, and everything has to come into context. He has been playing an exciting brand of football, has given young players a chance, has improved young players like your Mandreos after bringing them back from England, Livingston, Talbot, players like that. And he's done wonders at Bowes in that respect. The club are now building up again, and a lot of that's down to Keith Long. They're selling out their stadiums, their Dalymount Park every week in advance of games as well. A lot of that is down to Keith Long. If you compare where Bowes are now to where they were when he took over, it's a massive, massive difference. And for that reason, Keith Long gets in at number 2. Now, after a lot of thought, Ollie Horgan is in my list as number 1. He's the longest serving manager in the league, been with Finn Harps in 2014. The Galway man took over from Peter Hutton, which was a big surprise at the time. First season he took over, they struggled a bit in the first division. They finished 5th, a good bit off getting promotion. Got them to an FAI Cup semi-final, interestingly, that year though. But 2015 really got motoring. He got Harps back up to the Premier Division. And even for Finn Harps, it was they've had, over the past few years, the lowest budget they've had available to them. So obviously they got relegated again. He got them back up again, and he does perform wonders at that club. Finn Harps, for where they're situated, the size generally of the fan base and for the funds they've had, could easily be a club in the bottom half of the first division, but he's had them punching above their weight for years. He's had them in the Premier Division most of the time and had them stay up in the in the Premier Division. And I just think the achievement and the work he's done at that club has done wonders for the area. It's done wonders for Finn Harps Football Club themselves. And I just think he keeps doing a job, I would say, against the odds of Finn Harps. And you have to give him serious credit for that. And a lot of other clubs get a lot of credit, but it's good to see a club like Finn Harps outside of the Dublin kind of region do well and get credit. As I said, there's many clubs in the first division that would look with envy at Finn Harps and they would consider themselves as bigger clubs. But Finn Harps continue to punch above their weight and he's done a great job. So that's about it, guys. Without being too biased for your club, what do you think of the list? I know there'll be a lot of debate, and it was a tough list to do. That's the point of it. If it was too easy, it would bore me, and if there was no debate. So what do you think? What managers would you have in your top 10? Do you think I've put someone too high, put someone too low? If you're around here, please subscribe to the channel. Plenty of videos up. Keep an eye on them if you're bored, etc., etc. And I'll see you soon again. Enjoy this one. Good luck. Bye-bye now.